Hey everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com along with good old JM, Jeff Meacham. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing good. It feels like it's been a long time. I mean, we've had shows going consistently, but it's been a while since we sat here together. So yeah. I'm glad to be back.
It's actually been a full 5 weeks since a WWE pay-per-view event.
Wow. You never know that would happen again with the way they were doing one after the other. It was pretty consistent every other week.
Yeah, so we have WWE Battleground to talk about, or Battlefield, as Daniel Bryan put it on Tough Enough.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. He called it Battlefield.
Nice. Good job, Daniel.
Or Ground Battle, as Gilberto on the NoDQ forums would say.
Well, that's okay.
So we have, at this point, 7 matches announced, and there's always a possibility they'll add another match or two.
I love how a match is supposed to be so important because they label it as for the King of the Ring crown. It's on the pre-show.
You know, I made a joke on the Twitter account, twitter.com/NoDQ.DOTCOM. When R-Truth beat Wade Barrett, I wrote, hey, you know what? Maybe Wade Barrett will get his win back this Sunday on the pre-show match. And this was just a joke. I was kidding.
And they booked it.
Yeah, so
they're watching us, Aaron.
Yeah, the epic rematch, R-Truth versus King Barrett for the crown on the pre-show.
I can't honestly think that they would have Barrett not be redeemed. If they're really serious about going forward with Barrett as a legitimate contender at this point, because somebody asked me on Twitter DM, a fan asked me on Twitter DM, if I think Wade would leave the WWE if he lost the King crown. I'm like, no, it's just part of the gimmick. It is what it is. You know, he doesn't need the crown to be successful, but the way they're jobbing him out since he's won the crown has been very unsuccessful. I mean, so I honestly believe that Barrett's going to retain the crown.
You know, maybe it'll be like a repeat of the Mark Marrow departure. You know, when Mark Marrow said that if he lost to the jobber Gilbert or Dwayne Gill, he would leave. Maybe.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. But
it shouldn't happen anyway.
At this point, he might as well quit if he loses again to R-Truth.
I agree. But he won't. I don't think he will.
Yeah, so I do think King Barrett will get his win back.
I think he will too. I hope so. God, can you imagine if we had the Plunger King as the King of the Ring?
Either way, I think that Barrett is screwed.
Either way, I think this feud needs to be over with. I mean, you need to move Barrett forward as the King and present him as a contender for the championship, any championship at this point, or just write him off.
Yeah, if they ever bring back King of the Ring, it's not going to be... The concern is not going to be to Billy Gunn, the King of the Ring. The concern is going to be to Wade Barrett, the King of the Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so moving on here to the main card. Let's start off with the tag team title match.
Okay.
The Primetime Players, the champions, defending against the New Day.
And we don't know which 2 members of the New Day it's going to be until Sunday night, which gives them the advantage, obviously. But, you know, after the way they built up the Primetime Players as contenders, after the way they built up the New Day as the unstoppable force, and then they had them lose, I don't think that they're going to have the Primetime Players lose just yet. Maybe at SummerSlam, but not just yet. So I think the Primetime Players are going to retain the tag team titles. I'm sure there'll be some shenanigans where all 3 members of the New Day get involved in one way or the other, but I don't think it's going to lead to a title change.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird build-up because New Day hasn't really been booked that strongly in recent weeks.
No, they got their ass kicked in Tokyo.
Yeah, and then on Raw, Mark Henry beat them.
Squashed them. Yeah, it was bad.
So they haven't exactly been built up as top contenders for the titles.
Which sometimes leads us to believe that, well, maybe they're going to win the titles then.
Yeah,
because they've been losing so much. But I don't know why they would do that to Darren and Titus. I mean, Darren's a big role model right now, so is Titus with the whole Father of the Year thing and everything. So I don't think they're going to have them lose just yet. They will probably at SummerSlam, but not just yet.
That's what I'm thinking, too. I'm thinking it would really be pointless for New Day to win the tag team titles back this soon. I just don't understand the booking leading up to the pay-per-view. But I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say the Primetime Players retain this one.
Maybe at SummerSlam they'll have a gimmick match between the 2 teams.
Oh, boy.
Just saying.
Alright, so next up we have the IC title match, triple threat, Ryback versus The Big Show versus The Great Miz Holio.
If there was ever a match I didn't care about for the Intercontinental Championship, this would have to be it. because I love the Intercontinental Championship. I always have. That's one of my friend's favorite championships in his entire life, and he's going, this match is terrible. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the whole booking of Ryback as champion and Big Show and Miz as contenders is absurd.
Well, Miz is a top contender of running his mouth, or should I say Miz Holio?
Miz Holio, the great Miz Holio. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and boldly predict that Ryback retains.
I would say Ryback retains just for the fact that the IC title needs to be built up. You know, Daniel Bryan won it and then got hurt, and Ryback just won it recently, and he seems to have a little bit momentum as this fly back type guy that's
he fly back. I like that.
Doing the big moves off the top rope now.
Yeah.
So I sense he's going to retain, but I would not mind seeing the Miz or Miz Holio win the title just because I feel he's been entertaining me as of late.
Yeah, if Ryback doesn't retain, Miz will win the title.
Yeah, I think just about nobody is predicting Big Show to win this one. That would be the huge shocker. If they wanted to swerve everybody, they'd go with Big Show. But I would say probably Ryback with a decent chance of Miz winning.
Right.
So doing the Scott Steiner math, maybe a 66 2/3 chance Ryback wins, and a 33, or maybe a 30% chance that Miz Holio wins, and then that 3 1/3 chance that Big Show wins. Hopefully I did my math correctly. Maybe Scott Steiner's out there and he can correct me if I made a mistake.
We're getting in trouble for that one. Okay.
All right. So next up we have
Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Oh goody. Because we didn't see this enough. What was it, 5 years ago?
The epic rematch from SummerSlam 2010.
We were all there for that one.
You were there in the cheap seats.
I was in the cheap seats. Drinking myself stupid because the card was so bad. No, actually, people buy me drinks, so it was fun. I don't even care. I don't even care who wins this match. But I've been picking baby faces the whole time, so I'll go with Sheamus.
Well, I'm gonna go with the typical prediction: when the Money in the Bank winner is in a big match, he tends to lose. There have been exceptions, of course. Seth Rollins was booked fairly strongly as the Money in the Bank holder.
For the most part.
But with Sheamus, I just feel like it's a mid-carder holding the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Okay.
He hasn't really been portrayed as a future World Heavyweight Champion or the future of the company, although he's not really the future of the company because he's been around for, 5 years now?
Over that now.
6 years.
6 years now.
I'm going to say Randy Orton wins, even though it's kind of backwards booking. One would think if this is going to be a feud for a couple months, God forbid, one would think that the heel would pick up the first win and then Randy Orton tries to get his payback. But knowing how WWE books things too, it seems like the babyface always wins the first match and then they just do a random second match.
Except for Owens and Cena.
Yeah.
So far.
There are exceptions.
There are exceptions to the rule, but maybe I'll be right. Sheamus will win the shot, and then we'll have a big, huge SummerSlam rematch.
Yes.
At SummerSlam.
Yes.
Yes. Take that, Brooklyn.
The rematch to the rematch to the rematch.
Take that, Barclays Center.
Well, I'm gonna just say Randy Orton, but really this can go either way.
It really doesn't matter.
I think they'll probably flip a coin backstage to determine who wins.
This is one of those where it can open the card, nobody will care. They'll go pee right away.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I noticed there's no Diva match on here, so I'm assuming they'll probably add something at the last minute.
Probably. Oh, after that big epic thing on Monday.
Yeah.
They gotta do something.
All right, well, let's talk about the singles match for the U.S. title. John Cena versus Kevin Owens. The third and perhaps final match. That remains to be seen.
Yeah, you never know with these two. Conventional wisdom leads me to believe that if Owens lost the NXT title as cleanly as he did in Tokyo against Finn Balor, which I watched at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was retarded, I gotta believe that they're gonna give some sort of cheap but still title-winning victory to Owens. However, my dad pointed out a very good point in all that. Where do they go with Cena if he loses the U.S. Championship?
Well,
what do they do with him from there?
Here's what I'm thinking. And some people have suggested this idea, and I think it's a really good idea.
Okay.
Where Owens wins the match, with shady tactics, controversial fashion, and you set up something for SummerSlam, maybe a triple threat match with Cena versus Owens versus Cesaro. Okay. And you can even add Rusev if you want and make it a fatal four-way if they want to hold off Ziggler. I'm guessing Ziggler will be back and they'll do something with Rusev and Ziggler. But you can do a triple threat match at SummerSlam, and in that match you have Kevin Owens beat Cesaro, or you can even have Cesaro beat Kevin Owens if you want. And that way Cena doesn't take the fall, and then he can just go back into the main event picture. You know, Brock Lesnar will probably be gone after SummerSlam. Cena can get back in the main title picture, and then that way you get him out of the U.S. title storyline.
Makes sense to me. I'll go with that then. In that case, I'll pick Owens.
Yeah, so I'm picking Owens to win, controversial fashion.
But he'll win. Yeah.
How many AAs do you think he'll kick out of? I'm going to say 3.
Exactly what I was going to say. It was 3.
How many times do you think John Cena will kick out at 2?
More than 3.
More than 3?
More than 3.
I'm going to say 15.
15? Okay. Okay, all right. If we're going to be serious about that, I'll go with 17.
17.
17.
All right. So 2 more matches to cover here.
We guys are to sit here watching this Sunday and count them now.
Yeah, well, I was counting them on the last pay-per-view.
It's true, you were.
But, you know, the more near falls you have, better chance you have of being match of the year.
This is true, clearly.
You need to, in order to be a 5-star match, you got to have as many near falls as possible.
Yeah.
So you got to up the ante every match.
That's right.
All right, so the last 2 matches here. Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. I do not care about this match.
You know, it had such potential when they started the program at Money in the Bank where Bray cost Roman. But it's just gone downhill since then. Completely and utterly downhill. And yeah, I don't even care who wins. You know, the marquee matches, I honestly, you know, it doesn't matter. At least this one doesn't. I don't think they're gonna have Roman win this one, but he'll win the next one at SummerSlam. So I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt for this one.
Well, what do you think the SummerSlam main event's gonna be?
SummerSlam main event?
Yeah.
Probably Rollins and Brock in a rematch, if anything.
See,
regardless of who wins on Sunday.
We'll tie these in together because you know, I have a theory here about what's going to happen. Okay, so we have the main event: Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Now, a lot of people are speculating that there's going to be some sort of screw job, and they'll have the rematch at SummerSlam. But what do you do at SummerSlam then? Because Brock Lesnar is probably not going to be around after SummerSlam. So are you going to have a screw job finish, and then what are you going to do at SummerSlam? If you do Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar again, how do you end that at SummerSlam?
You have Roman be involved in the finish,
but he doesn't have Money in the Bank.
No.
If he did, that would have made sense.
It would have made sense. Roman owes both of these guys.
Yeah.
A big one because of what happened in WrestleMania. Because he had Brock on the ropes before Seth cashed in. And he could have beat Seth on his own. He's proven that. So I think Sunday Roman gets involved somehow in the title match. One way or the other. Sunday. And then that sets up the match at SummerSlam between all 3 of them, which would lead me to believe that Bray will win the feud with Roman and
possibly challenge him later down
the line. Or maybe Bray will also be involved, and instead of fatal forward for the U.S. title, it'll be a fatal forward for the WWE title.
That's a possibility.
Because Bray said his whole motivation for Roman was costing him the championship. So if Bray wins the feud, he has his own entitlement to be a challenger for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So then maybe he gets involved in the finish between Seth and Brock Sunday, and Roman comes down to counteract his presence, and then we have a whole big...
Well, here's what I'm thinking. The only thing that makes sense to me is for Roman Reigns to be involved in the SummerSlam main event, because I think that Brock probably has to lose if you do Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the title at SummerSlam, and you could have Brock beat Roman Reigns. I mean, the thing is, Brock's going to be gone. So I'm thinking that Brock is probably going to lose.
Sunday.
Not Sunday. I think he's going to lose at SummerSlam.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to lose to Seth Rollins. I think it's going to be Roman Reigns. I think WWE's going to go with that. What they initially had planned was for Roman Reigns to be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar. I sense that's going to happen. So, a couple possibilities. Either Brock Lesnar will beat Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns beats Bray Wyatt, and then you set up Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, the rematch, with a decisive winner. And that's where he wins.
And maybe have it where... We'll see, because then Sheamus can cash in if he really wants to and ruin that finish if they really...
I don't think they should do that.
They shouldn't, but, it's WWE.
Or, you brought up the possibility of a fatal four-way. Bray Wyatt beats Roman Reigns gets involved in the main event, and then that sets up a fatal four-way at SummerSlam.
Right. That's my prediction. Bray beats Roman, Seth somehow escapes Sunday with the title. And then it's a big fatal four-way to do.
Because you could do like a triple threat or a fatal four-way at SummerSlam where Brock doesn't have to take the fall again. He can lose without being beat. But then you have to do the same thing with Cena. So the whole, I'm not really sure what direction they're going to go in, but I sense,
which is good for once. We don't know what's going to happen. That's great.
Yeah,
but it's hard for us doing shows like this to predict everything.
It's really hard for me to predict. I think I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt to beat Roman Reigns just because. If they do go with the plan for Roman Reigns to win the title, Bray Wyatt can say, hey, I beat you, and then he's an instant contender. Or they can set up the fatal four-way match by having Bray Wyatt win. So I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt because it just makes more sense with the different possibilities.
All right, so Bray Wyatt to win over Roman, and then what about the title match?
And the title match. This is a tough one. I think you can have Brock win, and then Seth gets his rematch because it's only going to be a 1-month title reign. If Brock loses it again. But do you really want to have Brock lose the title again for a second time? So I'm really, really torn about this. I think I'm going to go with a DQ finish or some kind of interference from Roman. Something's going to happen. Or even, another possibility is I'm wondering where Kane's going to fit into all this because
Kane's ankle is injured.
Yeah, but
so
I sense he'll probably interfere and perhaps cost Seth Rollins the match. This is one of these times I don't know. So, in a way, this is a good thing.
It is a good thing. I'm going to go with, based on what you said, based on everything we've conjectured here, I'm going to go with Brock to win the title because of Kane's involvement. One way or the other. And then Roman will come out and kind of give Brock the stare down like, hey, you and me again at SummerSlam, brother, because we owe each other one for WrestleMania. We never finished our match. We're gonna finish what we started in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Brock to win the title, but it to me this can go either way.
It can, it really can.
They could really just do a DQ. I don't see Seth Rollins beating Brock. That's one thing I'm pretty sure of.
No, that's been well established that's probably not going to happen at this point.
So, all right, so that'll wrap it up for our predictions. Going to be an interesting show, at least the main event. Some of these matches, I'm really curious about what's going to happen.
It'll be worth the price of admission, that's for sure.
Just for the low price of $9.99. And of course, NoDQ.com has got you covered with the latest news, results, and all that good stuff. So stay tuned to NoDQ.com. We'll see you around. Thanks for watching.